Welcome to the Peak Potential Success Show. My name is Fong, and today we have another great guest. He comes highly recommended because he's been slaying the dragon of the hustle culture, one mindful moment at a time. He's been helping a lot of people design new mindsets, new passions, new habits, and also new practices to keep that motivation, that inspiration alive that usually kind of dies off. But he's able to solve that problem and help people keep that motivation and inspiration. He has over 30 plus years of experience when it comes to transformational leadership and mindfulness. He is a very, very successful top real estate agent and broker. He helps his clients get fresh new perspectives and heightened effectiveness, greater satisfaction, and of course, a lasting peace of mind. So please welcome the mindful CEO, a managing broker, Mr. Aaron Hendon.
Fong, thank you so much. I need you following me around, announcing me wherever I go, just with that energy. It's very good. It makes me very, very happy. And you speak fast enough to be from New York, which makes me so happy because I live in Seattle where people just like they stand on a street corner and wait for the light to change. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I don't get very many people that says, "Oh, I love it. You're speaking so fast."
Oh my God. I know. I'll bet. I bet in Saskatchewan you're a freak too. That's like very not the way that is. But that's great. High energy. It's always a good thing. Never goes wrong at a listing appointment of being high energy. The person with the most energy usually gets the listing. So
Well,
good work
awesome.
on
Well,
you.
thank you very much for that. Well, let's just jump into it. I always like knowing the origin story of all
Yeah.
our guests. You're very successble in real estate.
Yeah.
You run a brokerage. You are very successful in leadership and all that kind of stuff. How did you get there?
Well, let's see. The long arc I won't get into, but I've done a lot of different things in my time. I went to art school, so I have an art degree, which meant I worked in food service for many years, and I had a bakery. I did that trip, and then I got into transformational leadership, and I did that trip for a long time working for that. And then eventually, when I had kids, I was like, I need a career that will provide for me the income that will give me the lifestyle to which I would like to become accustomed. And I had some good friends in real estate, and they all agreed that I should get into real estate. So I did. In 2013, I made the leap into real estate. And I've been a six-figure agent every year, and having a great time at it, and I became a managing broker a few years back, and got really interested in training my team. And at some point, we had this great training worked out, and we did 3 month training and really intensive, and it was great. We thought it was great, but it never really cracked the code on having them have breakthroughs in their sales. And I turned to my partner one day and I said, the only thing I can think of to do here is to have them dial more. And I don't want to train them to dial more. I mean, I don't want to dial more. And if I wanted to get them to dial more, I would just put them in bold. Bold is a great training. I was with Keller Williams for 7 years, and I no problem with it. I think it's a great, great, great training, worthwhile. But I don't need to train them in that. And so we just sort of left it there. And then I encountered a moment for myself where I realized, the turning point. I was at a retreat with my wife, 28 years married, my best friend, love her more than anything, two grown kids, healthy. They speak to us. That's a win. I have 5 deals in escrow at the time. That's a win. Like my circumstances were incredible and I was still stressed. And it occurred to me that that's inappropriate. Like, why? My life is great and I'm still worried. This is not right. And it occurred to me in that moment that the game I was playing with my life was to get enough. Get enough, like enough so I won't have to worry, get enough stuff, and there is no enough. You can't have enough. If you're playing called the game, get enough, you're just always never going to have enough because you have to get more. And in that moment, it occurred to me like this is dumb. I don't want to play this game anymore. And I started to ponder what else I could play. And I realized that I didn't have any agency over my attention. I didn't have any way I could direct what I put my mind on. I was just worried about whatever thing my mind landed on, it would spin out on. And it occurred to me if I could get agency of my attention, that would be really worthwhile. Like that would be great. And I have been meditating on and off for since I was in my 20s, which is 40 plus years, but mostly off. And I realized that that was really something that I could master. Meditation really was could be a pathway for me to control what I put my attention on. And so I got myself started training myself, and then I got certified as a mindfulness instructor because I thought this is something I could train my team in. Every coach in the world talks about mindset. There is not one stage you're ever going to sit in front of where the person on the stage is going to train you and they're not going to tell you that mindset matters. But I hadn't seen any of them that said, here's the recipe. Here's what you do with your time to get in a mindset. And I got myself trained. And somewhere during the training, my experience of worry disappeared. And this carried through even in 2024. So anyone who's been in the business, 2024 was when half the deals went away. Interest rates tripled and half the deals in the US off the table. Just didn't happen that year. Wasn't stressed, wasn't worried, still six figures, all working, all good. So I put together a training and I put my team through it, and they increased their sales by 160%.
Wow.
Our agent retention went up by 86% and our referrals went up by 50%. And all I did was teach them how to meditate. We didn't do scripts. We didn't give them new leads. We didn't, none of that. Just how to train your brain. And I thought this is really, really important. People don't take brain training as seriously as they take their cardio. They don't take it as seriously as they take their weightlifting. And that's madness. That's insanity.
Mm.
There's a whole bunch of misconceptions about meditation. All these different things fit into the equation, but we don't generally run into people that take their brain training as seriously as they take their body training. No one questions that you can change your body by changing your diet and your exercise. No one's like, really? That sounds woo-woo to me. No one says that. But you tell people they can actually train their brain to not spin out. They can train their brain to be present and listen to their clients, even when they need the commission, quote unquote. And they say, oh, that's woo woo, or I don't have time for that, or whatever. And that's wrong and it's insane. So that's sort of my mission now. I'm a meditation evangelist.
Wow, that is fascinating. If you could please share, like, okay, so you mentioned that lots of people out there talk about mindset, okay,
Yeah.
and we
Right.
hear
I
it
mean,
all, yeah, yeah,
right.
we hear it all the time. But you're saying that what they don't teach you is the recipe to achieve that mindset or
Yeah.
mindfulness. Share with us the difference, like for somebody who's like, okay, I thought it was the same thing. How does how does one look at something from a mindset perspective and from a mindfulness perspective?
Well, they talk about, so it's sort of like, if someone's eating a dish of food or they're going to show you how to, you watch any of the cooking shows, right? Chef Rams, you can see it. It's delicious. It looks unbelievable, but they're not showing you how to cook it, right? They're not training you on how to cook it. So mindset and mindfulness is mindful is a way you can live. You can live mindful. And so let's just define that for a minute. It means to pay attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present, without judgment. It means sitting in the present, paying attention on purpose, in a with in the present with no judgment. So you can be mindful anywhere, anytime. You can be mindful when you're doing the dishes, you're driving your car, doing blah, blah, anything you're doing, you can pay attention in the present with no judgment. This is the what temperature of the water. This is what I'm doing. That's a mindful way of living. And if you just think about it, put it right into context for your real estate business, when you're with your clients, are you paying attention on purpose with no judgment to what they're saying? In other words, are you listening to them? Or are you listening to you talk about them?
Right.
Are you even there? The reverse is easier to see sometimes for a high performing agent. How many times are you at home with your kids or your spouse and really your mind is at work on that inspection that hasn't come in yet?
There's a
or
lot of
or
lots of entrepreneurs here, so all the time.
yeah, even if it's not real estate, we're constantly, our mind is constantly time traveling, rehashing those arguments. Oh, I know what I should have said 3 weeks ago,
Mm,
or catastrophizing about the future. Rarely are we just in the present without judgment. And in the present is where nothing happens in the past or the future. The present's the only place you can impact the quality of life.
right.
So plenty of people say that that's important, but they're not, here are the steps. Here's what you do to get that way. So
Mm.
that's, and for me, meditation is like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym so you get really skilled at lifting round iron circles. I mean, unless you're into Olympic weightlifting or, like you're going to lift, you're going to get good at lifting round iron circles. But for the vast majority of people, we lift weights so that we can lift our grandkids
Right.
or we can get out of a chair when we're 85. And meditation's like that. It's like putting on a booster pack for mindfulness. And this is neuroscience proven, demonstrated, Harvard, MIT, Stanford, Mayo Clinic, international, last 70 years. Your brain changes when you meditate, the way your body changes when you lift weights.
No, what's fascinating is, okay, you mentioned that this is science proven. It's been around for
Totally.
decades, and
Yes.
there's still lots of people who don't do it.
Yes.
You also mentioned there's still lots of misconceptions.
Yes.
So if you could share with us, like, okay, what are some of the most common misconceptions
Yeah.
and kind of debunk it?
Yeah. Well, the number one that I meet when I train high performers, right? Because I do train high performing people who are done with uh, or tired of separating success from fulfillment, right? We sort of feel like, well, once I get successful enough, then I'll be fulfilled. Like those are separate ones in order to get the other one. Like it doesn't look like I can be fulfilled in the moment and successful. And they're afraid they're going to lose their drive,
Mhm.
their anxiety or their impetus or their to get stuff done is going to disappear if they get really satisfied with the present moment. And that's blatantly not true. It's a really good reason not to engage, but just because no one trained you in how to do it doesn't mean it can't be done. You're being fulfilled in the moment actually empowers your performance. It gives you more access to your performance because, look, we get a lot of people in business and in real estate in our industries where they think I work better under pressure. Did you ever hear anyone say that? You know, I work better under pressure, which is just bullshit because no one would say I work better when I'm frantic, upset, and chaotic than I do when I'm centered, grounded, and calm. No one would choose frantic, chaotic. No one chooses that. But they haven't trained their brain to be grounded, centered, and calm when things get chaotic. And that's what this is. The Navy SEALs and the Buddhists have a saying, and this is why it impacts performance the way it does. We don't rise to the occasion, we sink to the level of our preparation. It's why Kobe was Kobe. No one practiced more than Kobe. Steph Curry is Steph Curry because he's taken that shot more than anyone else. So even when things are crazy, his floor is way higher than anybody else's. And that's what you see when you train your brain. Your floor gets higher. You are calmer when the shit hits the proverbial fan. So the myth is I'm going to lose my edge by calming down, and that's not true. You're going to be more effective. So that's one. Second biggest one is the idea that meditation is about clearing your mind. I have too many thoughts. I hear that all the time. My mind is too active. I can't calm down. I can't. It's not true. It's not true that the point of it is to calm the mind or to empty it of thoughts. I promise you, the Dalai Lama, when he meditates, doesn't have an empty mind. That's not what's happening. It's a complete misconception of what meditation. Everyone thinks meditation is, oh, and that's not it. The metaphor I like to use for people is this. You ever train a puppy? You put the puppy in the box, and its job is to get out of the box. Okay. And then you pick the puppy up and you put him back in the box. And you can't train the puppy unless it tries to get out of the box. You can't train a dog to do something unless you catch it doing the thing you don't want it to do. You got to correct it. And then eventually the puppy becomes a trained dog. That's a really good dog. It fetches for you, it lays at your feet. It's your best friend. But I don't know anyone who thinks their brain is their best friend. Mostly our brain is, we got to psych it up. We got to get motivated or inspired. We got to do something for it to get it off the hook of the catastrophizing because we haven't trained it. And all meditation is you take a breath. It's fundamental. There's lots of different styles, lots of different things. So this is an oversimplification. But you breathe in, you watch your breath, you notice what it feels like to breathe. And then maybe you breathe out and notice what it feels like to breathe out. And then your mind starts making a list. Oh, I'm making a list. You pick that puppy up, you put it back in the box. You bring your awareness and you put it back on the breath. It wandered and you brought it back. That's the meditation, catching it wandering and bringing it back to the breath. And then you take another breath and then you're finishing an argument you had with that idiot online. I can't believe I let it. Oh, come back to the breath. And maybe it's 3 minutes and you come back to the breath. And maybe it's 10 minutes before you even notice it and you come back to the breath. Whatever. It's the coming back part that you're trying to get to. And that is literally, not figuratively, literally decreasing the neuronal activity in your amygdala, your fight, flight, or freeze. It's decreasing the neuronal activity in there, and it's increasing the neuronal activity in your prefrontal cortex, your reasoning center. And those benefits stick even after you're done meditating. So it's not that it feels a particular way when you meditate, it's that 3 days later, you've grown your reasoning. You've become more responsive, less reactive. And it takes 10 minutes a day. I promise you, if you're listening and you don't think you have time to meditate, the third myth, you spend more than 10 minutes scrolling. Don't even argue with me about this. 10 minutes. And it's proven that over a very short period, 8 weeks, you begin to feel the difference. You become less reactive and more responsive. And you have started to raise the floor of your mindset. That's the recipe. 10 minutes. But no one talks about it because it's slow, boring, hard, and free. And people can't sell something that's slow, boring, hard, and free. So they don't talk about it.
And plus, you said it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks before they feel a difference. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
that's too
you're not
long.
a pill. That's right. It's not a pill. It's not a hack. It's slow, boring, and hard. It's just, I get it.
Mhm.
But
So, so
that's what
when
it is.
when you're meditating, you're basically doing a mental exercise of past experiences and try and kind of bring it back in with that breath and recognizing, okay, this is how I feel. This is how it feels when things go wrong and goes awry. This is how I bring it back. Now, you could do that again and again and again. Is it basically what we're saying is that becomes second nature when another situation arises and you're able to bring that back in right away?
Yeah, it's not, it's more that the arising of the way that situation occurs to you will be different.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's that it shapes the way you see things. And you do have the muscle memory of, oh, wait a minute, I noticed that I'm reacted now. Oh shit, I just, yelled at my wife. I get into fights with my wife. I get into, you know, upsets with other agents and clients and all the stuff. And I'm not human. It's just, it happens less. And when it happens, I can notice it quicker.
Mhm.
Like like you can pick your kid up. You could lift things that you couldn't if you didn't weight train,
Right.
you know, like that.
I've also experienced certain feedback where, do you not care? You seem to not care anymore. Is it like your
Mhm.
passion's no longer there, or it's no longer important to you? Well, that's
Yeah,
not necessarily true. It's still important. I still care. It's just that I don't react the same way.
that's right.
How,
I'm
how
not
do you
reactive.
comment about that?
Well, because you start doing things from devotion rather than in order to. You change your orientation to what it is to achieve that goal from I have to do this so that then I get something else,
Mm,
which is a recipe. The automatic default recipe that human beings operate under is I will do this to get that. And when I get that, then I will be happy. That's sort of the normal way of operating, like which never ends. That's a never ending cycle. You're because whenever you get that thing, it comes into a space where I need the next thing, as opposed to a reality in which, okay, I am completely satisfied in this moment. I have a beautiful, this is, but I mean this moment. And it's so important that you get this moment. Like right now, if you're listening to this podcast, you're okay in this moment. Your feet are on the ground. Here you are. Your nervous system can, in fact, relax. And there is, we'll talk about relaxing in a minute, but you can let go for a second because right now, in the present, you're okay. Now I get to choose what I want to do. Would I like to now? Do I have a difference I can make for this client with selling their house? There is. I could contribute to them. And that's all anyone really wants is to be a contribution.
yep.
And so
Totally,
I'm
totally
going to
agree.
now I'm going to, because I can make a difference for them. And and could I be fully expressed in doing that? Fuck yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. I don't have to react to everything. And if they don't choose me as their person, does it mean anything about me? No,
Mm,
probably not. So now I'm totally unhooked from it. And people buy from people they like, know, and trust. Yes, no one's arguing this. Like, know, and trust. And if I am grounded and centered when I go meet that client, their mirror neurons, their whole body recognizes my calmness and as trustworthy. I become someone we have all dealt with salespeople that we don't trust
right.
because they're too happy, they're too excited, how you doing? They're using Ford to get related to me. I mean, my God, if anyone asks me about my family again when I know they don't really care, like just shoot me. But I have the opportunity in the moment to be authentically interested in that person. I'm not doing it a technique. I'm not coughing back a script. That's a human being that I could contribute to. I'm interested.
Mhm.
I'm engaged. 160% increase in sales. That's that mechanism.
Mm. Now, there are those who are, let's say, very, very closed. They're introverts to begin with, right?
Mhm.
And you kind of
Yep.
mentioned the whole, okay, the script's there for them to kind of basically for them to follow so that they don't have to come up with something on the fly, and it's something that they use as a guideline. There is that period of time where it does feel a little bit of uh, inauthentic, but
Yeah,
it leads them towards being more open and
totally.
able to speak and all that kind of stuff. How does one skip that non-authentic moment and apply the mindfulness and still get over that whole hump of I'm shy, I'm an introvert?
That's a really good question. That's a really, really insightful question, Fong. So let's look. Um, I think scripts in general, there's a misconception, I think, about scripts because the person you're talking to doesn't have the script. So it's never going to be a script. You can't learn a script because they don't have their part. They don't know their part, right? All you have, if you're hung up on that, then you're always going to be fumbling for the answer, right? So first, there's practice, script practice with your team, right? Objection handling with your team, working all that out, just like you would do anything else. You see a great Shakespearean actor, that's a script. And you're not, if they're a great actor, you watch Meryl Streep, you're not left with, okay, that person's following a script. You're in the world that's who she is.
Right.
And that's a script, right? So you can practice and it doesn't show up as inauthentic because you've practiced it, and there's plenty of people that are, you wouldn't know it from their performance, but plenty of people are introverted and yet find a persona that they attribute on stage. It's an interesting book of the alter ego effect about that. So you can embody another person. And I think mindfulness provides an advantage in that you notice that it's not I am introverted. It ceases to be I am introverted to there is an experience in my body of tension here in my chest when I think about talking to that person that I've labeled introverted, but it's not genetic. It's not, it's a learned habit. It's a learned trait. And I can be responsible for that's that feeling in my chest when I'm like this. I don't like talking to people. I would much prefer stay at home than go out. I don't enjoy the company of strangers. I hate small talk. I generally don't do open houses for that reason. I just find it, ugh, don't like it. Um, but I also don't have to be um, driven by that immediate reaction. I have this experience in my chest. I'm doing a call on Monday for call reluctance, with for anyone who's interested. But every Monday we're going to do a mindfulness call, free training. But it's all about that kind of thing. We were doing today. I was practicing doing uh, sphere anxiety. When you go call your sphere, and you have this thought like, "Oh, I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to be a salesy, so I just won't call them at all." If you took a minute and examine that experience, it really isn't connected to them or you. It's just some reaction that's going on for you from some past thing. And you can let it go in a minute or two. If you've practiced, you can just go, okay, I'm not really going to give that energy. Agency of attention. I don't have to put my attention on that. I can put my attention over here.
Right. So you mentioned a few times also that meditation isn't always the typical like I'm thinking
Yes.
about the breathing and all kinds of stuff. And there's all types of different ways of doing it, and each person has their own way. How do you recommend people to find their own way in order for it to work for them?
Yeah, good question. Okay, I recommend that they find a teacher and try various forms with a teacher rather than going about it through the apps or on your own. And because I find a lot of people have tried to meditate and fail, the apps have something like a 90% churn rate, because the aspect of your identity, your ego that's selecting the app and telling you it's time to get started is also going to be judging the progress you're making and quieting down the voice that it is. You're gonna lose your anxiety. You're gonna lose that conversation about how stressed you are. Well, the thing that's making you stressed is the thing that chose the app to get unstressed. And so it's like trying to start a car with a dead battery. You're better off having a teacher. Like you go into the gym and there's all this equipment, and if you haven't been trained on it, you watch people use it all wrong, and then they decide, "Oh, I'm not good at this."
Yeah.
That's what happens when you don't get a teacher. So I'd recommend you get a teacher, and it's free. I teach mindfulness meditation for free all the time. I always have a cohort starting sometime, and you can find free meditation centers in every city in the world. There's always someone who's, not a hard thing to find. And try different ones, but give it enough space that you get a real. And it's like brushing your teeth. It works. You don't have to like, well, it doesn't work for me. No, no, stop. It works. It's reliable. 10 minutes, you can get that done.
Awesome. Now, for everybody out there, okay, you got the mindfulness stuff and you're starting to practice all that. And they also want to, let's say, get into real estate. With the market that it is right now, with all the new technology and whatnot, and all the information out there, what's the best way for people to get into real estate if they're just kind of thinking about it?
Well, take it, get yourself educated. I don't, do the test, find yourself a mentor, find yourself someone who's you trust, like and trust, that's going to take you under the wing, because the testing in real estate, as far as I can tell, is the least useful testing of anything I've ever seen in my life. It is so far from what it takes to actually be useful to a client, much less learn how to run a business. It's
Mhm.
insane. It's the lowest bar to entry of any professional on the planet. So I'd find someone, a team. I don't understand how people start without being on a team. I would find a team leader, like and trust, that's willing to, and sure, you'll pay your commission. It's not free to be on a team, but it's better to get a lot of small slices of pie than not any, and you learn how to do it. I'm
Mm,
still on a team. I still pay a split.
right.
So
And what would you recommend people who are looking into investing in real estate? Is this still a good time to get into real estate investing?
but that is so location and situation specific. I would never, ever pro, what is it, prognosticate or recommend anyone do it. How much money do you have? Can you lose that money? What market are you in? What are you looking to buy and hold, burr, flip? Billion variables. So no, no advice from me on without this deep consultation.
Right. Awesome. Okay, so we'll go back into the agent realm.
Yeah.
AI is a very big thing right now. What do you see AI doing to
Hmm.
impact the agent side?
I love it. I mean, I'm just loving it. We got a GPT set up for our marketing remarks, and I load up the pictures and the tax record, and it gives me marketing remark. Yeah, go baby. It's super virtual staging is instant. I think it's just a great tool. But if you look at it as anything more than a tool, then you're a tool. I mean, it's it's a very advanced keyboard, and it can put together things in the back end, and you can get it to work so that your leads come in and they get answered, and depends how deep you want to get into it. But I think it's an enormous time saver for me. I love it.
Do you see it potentially taking away agents' jobs?
No,
No.
I I think they've been talking about the demise of agents forever, way before AI.
Right.
And I don't, for me, and this is my perspective on it. Okay. Um, Despite the fact that we are poorly trained and there are way too many, you know, one, two deal people in it, unprofessionals, non-professionals in the field, despite all of that, it is the single most expensive, most complicated, most emotionally impactful transaction of someone's life.
Mhm.
I can't buy something over $50 on Amazon if I don't see that I can return it. There's no returns on this thing. It's not one of the most expensive. It is the most expensive. It's singular in its transactional place in someone's life. I don't see how that falls into a realm where I would trust a machine to make that work for me if I were buying a house today. I want someone who's got my back. I don't think WebMD is going to replace doctors. I I don't think LegalZoom is going to replace lawyers, and I don't think real estate agents get replaced. And despite the incredibly shit job that the associations do about training our people, I still don't think we're going to get replaced.
Mhm. Well, that's good news to future agents and current agents,
Yeah,
I guess. Now, I know congratulations are in order because you're gonna be releasing your book soon. Share
yeah,
with us the lead up to deciding to write that book, and
yeah.
also a little bit about the book that is gonna get people to get in line for.
Yeah, well, once I got the training flat, that it increased the performance of my team by 160%. And then I ran it I mean, I've been running it now. I probably have about 400 people through it. Um, and it's been that kind of effective. The woman who owns the Keller Williams where I used to work, the office, was like, I just did more business this quarter than I did all last year. And this was I'm less stressed in a really hard time of life because she got trained. She's using these tools. I did my first six-figure quarter last year and I did less out. I was like, okay, this is good. So I've taken the coursework. It's really a manual for the course. And it's called How to Live a Grateful Life in a Fucked Up World. So there's a couple of things about it that I think are, I mean, part of it, if you are woo-woo, if you're like in the law of attraction manifesting realm of life, which I know a lot of real estate agents are, this is for you. It's how to be grateful and generate that vibration when things are falling apart. And if you're not woo-woo and you think that those people are crazy and they're all sage burners or whatever, right? No problem. there's the wealth of neuroscience that backs up if you train your brain, you can stay in a state where people know, like, and trust you, and you'll sell more. So it's got some, it doesn't matter which side of the equation you come in on it, right? It works. Mindfulness, meditation work. And this is the recipe. So I was talking about, no one tells you how to do it. This book fills the gap from, like Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, Mark Manson's book, is wonderful. And it's commentary. It's sort of like advice. It's not a recipe. It's not do this. And this is a 9-week training where you do this meditation for 1 week, and then you do another meditation for a week, and then you do another one, and the commentary that runs along with it, and a link to the audio versions of the meditation. So it's a complete package. And yeah, so it's the accompaniment of the course. And that's what had me do it, was like, okay, this course is really good. I'd probably get out there for more people if I could put it down on paper. So I took the stuff I'd already been giving the students as a manual, and I turned it into a book.
Awesome. Now, I know you also mentioned that you do like training and then also online stuff with
Yep.
your clients. How do people get into that circle?
They can go to aaronhinden.com and reach out to me. That's the easiest way. But I'm in the Healthy Mind Collective as a collective of EXP agents, and we're doing a free mindfulness Mondays. And they can reach out to me. I'll get them a link to that. That's free. It's not agency specific. It's not a recruiting event. It'll really just be 30 minutes on Mondays and actionable tools, things like, call avoidance and bad inspection responses, and actually dealing with the kind of things we deal with every Monday for 30 minutes. And you'll leave with a handout and stuff like that on Zoom. So there's that. And then my cohorts, How to Live a Grateful Life in a Fucked Up World, run 9 weeks long, and I usually run 4 of them a year, 5 of them a year, and they're all pay what you want, sliding scale. Some people pay zero. The broker owner who, did the multi-million-dollar quarter gave me $1,000. So no one's turned away for lack of funds. You don't have to pay for it. If you want to, you can, but other than that, it's completely free. And yeah, so those are two ways. But all my contact information is on aaronhinden.com.
Awesome. That is very, very generous of you. And then also very, it makes a big impact because
Yeah,
a lot of people who are kind of wary about, okay, I don't have the funds. I don't know if this is going to work. They could at least try it out. And
totally.
most likely when it does work, those are the people that will pay eventually later. And
Yeah,
they'll
I'm
get
not.
this the best thing.
Look, I sell real estate. My real estate pays my bills. This is it's very, and that's what I'm saying. Even if you don't learn to meditate from me, in every city in the world, there are people that teach meditation for free because the work itself is priceless. So it's not up to me to put a charge on it. It's
Mhm.
up to you as a student to decide what's it worth to you.
Right.
And that is the way meditation is generally taught, is
Mhm.
it's called dana, and it's the opportunity for a student to own their own transformation and say, this is what this, given my circumstances, given what I've got. And if you're a new agent or you haven't done a deal, da, 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 and your circumstances are such that you can't pay for it, great, then don't pay for it. Then just learn how to do it. And if you do a 6-figure quarter, great. You can return the favor and pay for it that way, whatever works for you. So that's because fundamentally you're tuning in, you're tapping into, oh, that's the way the universe works. It's just this big gift, receive kind of mechanism. And
Mhm.
shit just works out when you let it just work out.
Yeah, very, very true. All right. So before I let you go, I do have one final formal
Oh,
question for you.
okay.
And that is, okay, if you're on the big stage and you had one message for everybody to remember Aaron for, what would that message be?
Be kind to yourself. There is no downside to being kind to yourself.
Mhm.
No downside to being kind to yourself. And I mean that in every way. When we're so hard on ourselves. We're so judgy about ourselves. We're so not enough about ourselves.
Mhm.
And just find a way to be kind to yourself and enjoy it.
Mhm.
This is it. We don't, this is it. This is it. Be nice to yourself.
Great. Good
So
words to live by, and hopefully everybody applies that to their daily lives, and then also reach out to you on those mindfulness
yeah.
sessions and whatnot. Okay, got a few rapid fire questions for you. Give me the
Okay,
first thing that comes to mind.
let's
All
go
right.
rapid fire. Oh, go.
All right. You're stranded on the deserted island, one food to eat for the rest of your life, no consequence. What would be?
Ice cream.
Hollywood calls and goes, "Hey, Aaron, we love your story. You're very, very inspirational. Who would you cast to play you?"
Oh, that's a good one. Um, uh, Adam Sandler. No,
Adam,
David Sandberg. Andy Sandberg.
Andy Samberg shows up your door and goes, "Hey, I'm here. Let's hang out. Let's have some fun. Boy, I'm hungry." And you go, "Hey, no worries. Come on back. I got a great dinner specially prepared for you. What did you prepare?"
We prepared queso tacos.
You're in a car, long road trip, one song.
Going down the road feeling bad.
Nice choice. Number from 1 to 5.
4.
One, two, three, four. So the word is first aid. If you
Okay.
had to use first aid as a metaphor for success, how is success like first aid?
Success. Okay, well, how success is like first aid. You may not like this answer, but it's a band-aid and it is not the solution to the actual issue. At best, it's a band-aid over something that for success, you don't need a band-aid's not going to get it done. For success, you need to find yourself in the present moment already successful. So that's how I'd say that.
Nicely done. That's how you wrap everything up from what we started off at the
Yeah,
beginning,
that's there you
right?
go.
Stop chasing it. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, your thoughts, your wisdom. Much appreciated. Any final words from you?
I really appreciate your work, Fong. I so appreciate that there's a voice in the desert bringing people water on how to achieve their peak performance, the potential to let out all of that, that life force. I just really just appreciate your commitment to all that. It's just really great. You're not getting paid for this. This is no more generous than mine, and I really want to make sure you get acknowledged for being that person. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Again, much appreciated. For everybody, make sure you reach out to Aaron, his website, and then also pick up his upcoming book. I'm sure that's going to be out when this goes out. Again, thank you for everybody out there. He's Aaron. I'm Fong. Until next time, today is the day to unlock your peak potential. We'll see you later.